really is that simple with DSTV Thanks.
Everywhere, GBS.
Good morning. This is GBS Morning Extra, and of course, you're right on time for our show today. And being on Friday, we have a lot lined up for you, from sports news to newspaper review and, of course, entertainment segment, and all that we don't have to miss. And first of all, as Kenyans, we have a lot to smile about. Harambee Stars made us proud yesterday, and we'll be showing you the goals just in a few minutes. But for now, just keep the conversation going on. For now, keep tweeting GBS Morning Extra. That's the hashtag on Facebook, Twitter, and of course Instagram. And our SMS line 21144, that is open. You can also send your comments, and of course, remember to congratulate our national team, Harambee Stars, for making us proud. And I'm not alone. I'm joined by very good friends of mine here. Kevin Nyariki, good morning.
Good morning, Tuto.
Journalist and of course news reporter. Good morning, James. Sorry.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm good, sir.
You should smile, man. Harambee Stars.
Yeah, it's a happy day for Kenya.
Well, at last.
Yeah, at last.
We had lost hope, but now I think all is well.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll be joining you soon in the newspaper reviews. So let's now take the news, and we start with the patriotic note this morning. And Harambee Stars striker Michael Olunga Brace set a precedence for our national team and made us proud yesterday for winning against our neighboring country, Tanzania. And of course, Michael Olunga goal in the 39th minute equalized a Samantha goal that was scored in the 6th minute. James Omolo goal in second half, and another Michael Olunga goal in the 80th minute made us proud, of course, as you can see on your screens. And that means now Harambee Stars only need a point, and if Tanzania loses to Algeria, then Harambee Stars would qualify to the next round. Okay, a quick comment. What do you think about that Harambee Stars game?
I think we deserved to win that game, but we saw something that from the last game that happened yesterday that Sebastian Minye is still confused. But at the end of the day, we made it 3-2. Now we have to have a solid defender against Senegal, and I think Olunga raised the occasion to score against Tanzania and help Kenya get 3 points.
Okay, and James, do you think we'll get at least a point against Senegal on Monday?
From what we saw yesterday, from the game between Senegal and Algeria, we might probably win or draw against Senegal. Yeah, we might.
So
yesterday, Senegal did not play well, or even the game between Senegal and Tanzania.
So you think we'll make it against Senegal?
We can make it.
Okay. And of course, the Olunga's goal is just amazing. I don't think in this competition there's any other goal that can beat that one, and maybe he might win the goal of the competition. Now to other news. Deputy President William Ruto assassination claim has now taken another twist after Interior PS Karanja Kibicho claims that the Deputy President was harassing him and has asked the DCI to interrogate the matter.
Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibichu has filed a formal complaint against Deputy President William Ruto at the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. Kibichu is accusing the Deputy President of harassment, a charge that adds new twist to the ongoing investigation against 3 cabinet secretaries and other top officials on claims of Ruto's life being in danger. Kibichu was mentioned on an alleged plot against Ruto in a meeting said to have taken place at Lamada Hotel along Thika Road, where the 3 cabinet secretaries are believed to have hatched the alleged plot. The 3 were later summoned to the DCI offices along Kiambu Road to record statements.
And complained that some cabinet secretaries and some other senior government officers have been meeting at Lamanda, and they gave a specific date of 14th May. And in that meeting, there were plans that were being hatched in that meeting at Lamanda to kill him.
Kibichu was expected at the DCI headquarters to respond as an accused. Instead, he went and filed a complaint against Ruto on Tuesday night. Officials said that the PS recorded a statement over what he feels is harassment from the deputy president. The deputy president is said to have informed the president of the alleged assassination plot. Ruto has until now not recorded a statement with the DCI on these claims, which will officially kick off as investigation, thus forcing police to now concentrate on the source of the letter, which was found to have been prepared at a cyber cafe in Karen. Esther Ithera, GBS Morning Extra.
And the Cabinet Secretary the Finance Cabinet Secretary CS Henry Rotich has ordered the public universities to pay their tax arrears amounting to 16 billion and make sure the debts are being complied, the order has been complied with within the shortest time possible.
According to Daily newspaper, the universities are in tax arrears of 8.1 billion and 8.4 billion in unremitted pensions. Magoha said that some of the funds were allocated in 2010-2013 collective bargaining agreement for lecturers, and the National Treasury is emphatic that there is no reason for failure to comply, he says in a letter addressed to the 30 vice-chancellors. Professor Magoha also added that the affected universities can engage the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Retirement Benefit Authority to waive interest or negotiate an agreeable payment schedule from the approved government and appropriation aid budget allocations. In a report released by the Auditor General, Edward Ouko, for the last financial year, he singled out the University of Nairobi, Kenyatta University, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and Multimedia University as some of those involved in cash flow. This has seen them fail to remit statutory deductions to KRA, RBA, National Hospital Insurance Fund, and SACCOs. Reporting for GBS Morning Extra, I am Caroline Mora.
And Starehe Member of Parliament Charles Kanyi Elias Jagwa spent the second night in cells after the court declined to rule his bail request yesterday, and that case will be determined later today.
Starehe MP Charles Jagwa Kanyi will face charges of incitement to violence over his intolerant statements against foreigners operating business in Nairobi. The Directorate of Criminal Investigation confirmed that the MP will be presented to court following his dramatic arrest outside Parliament Wednesday. Mr. Njagwa's arraignment comes even as the government in a statement condemned the provocative words the MP made on Monday and distanced itself from what is described as reckless and unneighborly sentiments. Tanzania has since summoned Kenya High Commissioner to Dar es Salaam, Dan Kazungu, to explain the MP's remarks which threatened to attack foreign traders operating in the capital. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said MP's utterances were careless and insightful, pointing out that the aggressive and ill-tempered language used by Mr. Njagwa is against Kenya welcoming ethos as well as the Constitution.
And now to Lamu County, the controversial coal project in Lamu has been stopped by courts over the allegation that over the claims that the project did not follow the right procedure and the residents were not consulted properly.
In a major blow to the government and Amu Power Limited, which clinched the lucrative tender, the tribunal found that the environmental impact assessment for the project was done haphazardly and did not involve the public. The tribunal, led by Justice Mohammed Balala, faulted the National Environment Management Authority for glaring blunders and casual misconduct in issuing an environmental and social impact assessment license to Amu Power. It emerged that Amu never submitted its architectural drawings for assessment and did not indicate how it will ensure that there will be no harm to the environment. The firm was also faulted for conducting selective public consultations in which it declined to divulge critical details about the planned coal plant and gave differing dates for the consultations. The power plant is part of the government's ambitious 2.5 trillion Kenyan shilling lapsed corridor. The decision by the tribunal is a second blow to the project that has been cited for failure to consider its grave impact on the environment. In May last year, the High Court ordered the government to pay 1.7 billion Kenyan shilling to 5,000 fishermen for failing to consider the environmental harm caused by the Lapset project. In the verdict, the court also ordered the government to resubmit the project's document for re-evaluation by NEMA and report on the findings within a year. High Court judges Pauline Nyamwea, Joel Ngugi, Jaden Thuranira, John Mativo, and Joseph Onguto found the government at fault for not providing evidence on how it was going to deal with disrupted sea life after the dredging of Lamu Port. Yesterday, the tribunal observed that although the court had ordered NEMA to reconsider the project's papers, nothing had been done. Emmanuel Ouma for GBS Morning Extra.
And now to another tax story. Have you filed your tax returns for the year 2018-2019 financial year? And now it is estimated that 1.3 Kenyans are yet to file their returns amid Sunday's deadline.
Nearly a third of Kenyans have not filed their tax returns 7 days to Sunday's June 30th deadline, exposing the 1.3 million non-compliant individuals and companies to fines. Kenya Revenue Authority said on Wednesday that 2.7 million Kenyans had filed their tax returns by June 23rd against a target of 4 million taxpayers. Individuals who failed to meet the Sunday deadline face a fine of 20,000 or 5% of the tax payable in the year under review or whichever is higher. But those filing for employment income only face a fine of 10,000 or 25% of income tax payable in the year the return is meant to capture or whichever is higher. The KRA in March said it was targeting 4 million returns at the end of June. The Treasury said the taxman will pursue workers and business people who fail to declare their income to the state in a drive aimed at plugging the revenue shortfalls and curb tax evasion. Tax collection for the first 9 months to March was short of the target by 95 billion Kenyan shillings, mainly due to reduced economic activity and drought that hit agriculture. Kenya has been blamed for small tax bracket that fails to capture the self-employed and those working in the informal sector. Official data show that 2.9 million Kenyans worked in the formal sector last year compared to the 14.8 million in the informal sector. To prevent the tax cheats, the Kenya Revenue Authority will review data from the platform that links the government payment system to the online tax register dubbed the iTax, targeting those who make millions of shillings from trading with the state. The taxman is also relying on the filings by the companies revealing their suppliers and the amount paid for their goods or services in what earlier led to the deactivation of the personal identification number accounts in a crackdown of tax cheats. The Treasury is also betting on the presumptive tax charged at the rate of 15% of the annual business permit fee paid to the counties to arrest tax cheats. The Kenya Revenue Authority forecast to net 1 million small traders who have limited contact with the revenue system, save for indirect consumption levies via the business permit tax. Kenya projects to collect up to 1.87 trillion in taxes in the year starting July from the 1.65 trillion it expects to raise in the year ending Sunday, 30th June 2019. Emmanuel Ouma, GBS Morning Extra.
Thank you so much, Ouma, for that comprehensive report. And now to another somehow disturbing story. According to World Drug Report, 35 million people globally are suffering from drug use, and millions of others are struggling with addiction.
A study from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, shows that the negative health consequences associated with drugs are more severe and widespread than previously thought, with around 35 million people suffering from drug use disorder and requiring treatment services. Some 11 million people injected drugs in 2017, 1.4 million of whom are living with HIV, and 5.6 million with hepatitis C. UNODC explains the significantly higher figures are due in part to improved research and more precise data, including more knowledge of the extent of drug use from new surveys conducted in India and Nigeria, two of the most populous countries in the world.
According to new estimates, some 35 million people in the world suffer from drug use disorders and require urgent services. Drug use has caused some 585,000 deaths in 2017. That's more than 500,000, mostly young men and women.
Whilst the overall figure for drug use in 2017, an estimated 271 million people, was similar to the previous year, the trend is rising, and the number of people using drugs is now some 30% higher than it was 10 years ago.
In 2017, North America saw the number of overdose deaths resulting from the use of opioids rise by some 14%. I am sure I do not have to emphasize to the audience here the grave impact of this phenomena to the whole society.
This is partly attributed to a 10% increase in the global population aged between 15 and 64, but also increased opioid use in Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America, as well as a higher cannabis consumption in North and South America and Asia.
What has been called the other opioid crisis is affecting Africa, especially West, Central, and North Africa. This is attributed to tramadol, which has been used as a painkiller for decades and to this day remains outside international control.
Opioids are the class of illegal drugs derived from heroin, opium poppies, including synthetics such as fentanyl and other prescription medications such as Oxycontin and Vicodin.
Illicit drugs and its trade are the single largest source of organized crime groups' funding around the world. And in many country contexts, the scale of funding is such that it has the ability to negatively influence development of the whole society.
The manufacture of cocaine, chiefly from South America, reached an all-time high in 2017 with an estimated production of 2,000 tons in 2017, up by a quarter on the previous year.
Coordination among national, regional, and international institutions should aim to further strengthen law enforcement capacities in order to effectively dismantle drug trafficking organizations and transnational organized criminal groups. Joint responses are also crucial to address linkages between terrorist and criminal networks and to counter terrorist groups engaging directly or benefiting indirectly from criminal activities, including drug trafficking.
At the same time, seizures of cocaine rose 13% to 1,275 tons, another record figure.
Harmful impact of illicit drugs and other associated criminality is a common concern to all of us, not only because it creates tremendous human suffering to the individuals and their families and communities, but also because it arrests healthy and sustainable development and causes instability and security challenges, bringing people's lives into a chain of misery.
Okay, thank you so much for keeping it GBS Morning Extra. Personally, we heard this morning for the news recap. We have another story that we are following up during the day, and of course, we'll keep you updated. Just keep in touch. You can also join the conversation this morning using our SMS line, that's 21144 21144, and of course, on our Twitter handle, that is hashtag GBS Morning Extra. And of course, don't forget to tag me at @1topmwema and at GBS Kenya. Good morning, gentlemen, once again.
Good morning too.
Asanteni sana kwa kuamka mapema. And let's now look at what the papers asked this morning. We start with the Daily Nation. The assassination claim against the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto, still continues. Police turn hit on Ruto's aides. Detectives suspect people sympathetic to the Deputy President could have generated the letter alleging a murder plot with the intention of creating an impression that the life of Mr. William Ruto was in danger. Okay, Kevin, this story has now taken a new twist. Police claim that maybe some Ruto psychophants might have generated the letter.
But the main question you have to ask yourself, what was it for? And then you have to understand that there is 2022 politics that will begin, and the president has warned the side of the deputy president. At the same time, it can spur for cabinet secretaries, all cabinets reshuffle. At the same time, a sympathy from the side of Mount Kenya for William Ruto in 2022. Also, it can be used to divert attention of the national issues. Remember, we had a president calling for the members of his party to focus on development. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and James, do you make of the same? Because there are fears that maybe the letter could be fake.
I tend to agree with it, with your statement that the letter can be fake. Okay. The deputy president sits in the National Security Council, which is chaired by the president. The other members include the IG, the Director General for the NIS, that is Kameru, the Defense CS, and I think Foreign CS. DP has access to the IST intelligence service, and therefore, if someone could have wished to eliminate Ruto, he would be very sure of that. Up to now, he has never recorded a statement. Okay. So I still read some mischievous things in that letter. It might be for political reasons.
Okay, and now that the deputy president has not written an official statement to the DCI, do you also think that it might be a political move, as some people are suspecting?
Of course, you have to understand that sometimes back, the deputy president was uncomfortable with the DCI and DPP. So you have to, yesterday the office of DPP said that they were inviting the FBI to come and investigate the matter. So you have to understand that Ruto, it can be a move, a political move, yes. And Munya went to a certain TV and said that the claim was for sympathy. And at the moment, according to some of the ministers, you can't discuss this at the cabinet secretary meeting because it is not an agenda that the president can come and discuss that we want to assassinate somebody, and the accused are among the people who are going to discuss the same issue.
Okay, there's also another story here where DPP Nudin Haji wants Deputy CJ Mwilu kicked out of top court. In a petition filed at the Judicial Service Commission, Director of Public Prosecution Nudin Haji says Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu is not fit to continue holding office because he alleges she used her status to enrich herself, evade taxes, and engage in inappropriate communication with suspects. There has been a trend previously, borrowing from the former deputy CGs, from Baraza to Karpana Rawal and now to Mwilu. Is it that there might be a plot maybe to ensure that there is no there's no deputy CJ who rises to the top seat in the judiciary?
I might be worried about the plot against DCJ. Since she assumed office, how many cases have been put against her? The member of parliament for Kandara raised a very hard question, which was very hard for the Judicial Service Commission to establish whether it's a fact, saying she ruled in favor of a court ruling in Kandara. Now, I think last month, we saw proceedings against her and the foreign lawyer from UK. Now we are back to the court again.
Okay. Maybe
I can read some. I don't know, but it's the right of every person to petition the Judicial Service Commission on a conduct of a member of the judiciary. It's the right of every person. So let the GSC do the necessary.
Okay, and there's also another story. The Starehe Member of Parliament, Charles Kanyi. Also, the case is also expected to be heard today, and the court will rule whether to release him on bail or not. Yesterday, the court decided that it will rule today, and Resident Magistrate Tobiko Shinkia said she will rule today on the matter, and directed that the Member of Parliament remains in Kileleshwa Police Station, where he has now to spend the second night. Kevin, what's your take on arrest of this member of parliament, considering there are some public officials who have made dire utterances and still they have not been arrested or any action is yet to be taken?
But I think Jaguar went overboard, and the sentiments he made. You have to understand that trade in Nairobi County is under Mike Kambovi's song, and we have a trade representative. At the same time, you have to understand that the world is global village. We have many Kenyans who work outside there. What if they receive the same sentiments from the other countries? And I think it was unnecessary attention. Attention was after the sentiment he made.
Okay, and there's another story here for the Interior CS, Fred Matiang'i. Launches birth certificates drive to boost registration in schools. The government has launched an initiative to hasten the processing of birth certificates, speaking in Kajiado County. The launch of the 1 month rapid results initiative to clear the current backlog of about 1.3 million application for birth certificates. It has been an issue getting birth certificates, and now considering the fact that you cannot do any national exam from primary school without the birth certificate. James, do you think that's the right move?
Yeah, it's a good initiative by the government. I think people have been making a lot of queues in the registrars, and I think that will help sort out the long queues we witness in the registrar's office.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe a comment on Jaguar's issue.
Okay.
Kenya enjoys good relationship with its neighbors, Tanzania, Uganda, DRC, and the rest.
Okay.
And the government has said is not a government stand on what Jaguar said is not the government stand. Issues of diplomacy and international relations are issues which cannot be addressed by a person like Jaguar. When you touch a person of another country or nation, you touch the interests of that nation. So I think Jaguar, as my friend has said, went overboard, too much overboard, and we should live as neighbors and in a good harmonious relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there was also other issues. The utterances made by the Interior CS when the story of Gikomba Chinese being involved in Gikomba business. It's like they're almost already on the same script, but it seems like Jaguar is feeling hit more than the CS.
Maybe you can say that, but it's very critical to argue on that point and to affect issues of diplomacy. You know, I've been in a class of international relations, and one of the most critical points when you talk of the IR is the country's interest, which lays in the citizens. So every country has to protect its citizens, whether they're in the country or in another country. So even the Chinese who are in Gikomba, let them have the requirements
for them to do business.
Yeah, for them to do business, and the visas and the legal documents to undertake business with them.
Okay, and let's look at what the Standard has this morning. It's also about the rift in the executive following the assassination claim. Cabinet eyes on Uhuru as split widens. How will President navigate a seemingly divided executive that has, in a matter of days, seen Ruto claim some cabinet secretaries plan to eliminate him, while powerful peers has accused the deputy president of harassment? Kevin, do you think these claims might force the president to do some reshuffles in his cabinet?
Yeah, as I said earlier, the letter which was it has been said that it was forged. It can spur a cabinet reshuffle, and you have to understand that there are three powerful ministers who are against the deputy president in 2022 succession bid, and I think it can.
So it might be forced to, but will he really act before the DCI has proved that the letter maybe was legit or maybe some prosecution have been done?
I don't think whether the president will make a reshuffle. Those are political ideas and political moves. But let's wait and see.
Okay, it's a matter of wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see what will happen.
Okay, there's also the pullout in the Standard, that is the Pulse, being on Friday. The saying is the family of popular Heiress hosted a Tanzania celeb for dowry negotiation last weekend. We look at some of the big names who have gone fishing for love in other lands. These, of course, they are celebrities. Some of them deciding to marry outside our borders. I don't know if our women are not ripe enough for marriage. I don't know. Their opinion.
Yeah.
And of course, the Harambee Stars story. It seems they started their time on this. Olunga gives Kenya reason to believe again. The Harambee Stars striker Brez has also revived the hopes and of course the support of Kenyans. Kenyans had given up with their national team, but now they believe that Harambee Stars can stay to the next level. And of course, the Belahini fires Algeria into last round of 16. Algeria now in the knockout stage, although they have not played their last match against Tanzania. And also, this will be a very crucial match, more so for Tanzania, because if they lose this match or get a draw, that means they are going home.
Yeah.
Of course, there's another story. I think Kevin will be covering that in the Sports Extra. So let's not talk about it more. Let's take a look at what the Star has this morning. The Star also talks about another emergence of another audio claiming that linking CS Munya, although the CS has dismissed the claim. Ruto snaps media as fresh audio emerges. CS Munya dismisses the recording, saying he is not aware of the reported discussions. Guys, I don't know whether you have come across the audio. There's an audio that was released yesterday. And the conversation seems to be in line with what the Deputy President is claiming. And in the audio, the CS for industrialization, that is CS Munya, has also been implicated in the audio. What do you make of this new twist?
It's a new change in the story, but first, maybe sometimes I have political differences with the DP, of which is a democratic right. I have a right to disagree or agree with these political moves. But we are in a country which believe in the rule of law.
Okay.
And every person in accordance with the Chapter 4 of our Constitution has a political right to be voted or not to be voted. So at all, the DP is a person like us. So maybe if assassination is there, let us follow the rule of law.
Okay.
Yeah. I think this will increase the tension between Harambee House and the office of the president. You have to understand that the cabinet secretary have to work together for the benefit of the Kenyans.
Okay. Yeah. And also, there is also an ODM meeting in Nakuru expected to take place this weekend. Raila Odinga, the former premier, and the former NASA coalition flag bearer in 2017 election. Raila Odinga to chair the key ODM meeting in Nakuru. And then there's another story. Songo storms Machakos police station to free suspects. Nairobi Governor Mike Songo stormed Machakos police station yesterday morning protesting the arrest of former Kibwezi MP Kalembe Ndile's workers. Songo arrived at the station in a motorcade that included Songo rescue team and mobile medical clinic vehicles. Guys, these side shows between the Nairobi Governor and the Machakos Governor, where do you think they are taking us?
It's all about supremacy between the governor of Machakos and Nairobi. And it's uncalled for the governor of Nairobi to go for somebody who has been arrested. I expected something from him. You have to respect the courts and then see the outcome.
Okay, what do you make of that story?
The governor of Machakos started it all. He came to Nairobi, visited all the statues, Tomboya, Bernard Kimathi, and said the guys who are given that duty are not doing their duty. He will pay for the construction, the rehabilitation of those stuff. Surely, that's not your county. How can you just come and say things like that? Maybe if you have called Songo personally and say, Songo, please, kindly rehabilitate this stuff. Kindly do some things on this. So he is the person who started the chaos.
Also, there's also a question of why are they fighting? They don't have same interest. I don't think maybe Governor Mutua is planning to run for Nairobi governorship.
And of course, you cannot run for Nairobi governorship because you have already finished the 2 terms. I think the issue is more of Kamba Kingpin.
Okay.
The next Kamba Kingpin. Not
so that's the only interest that
the only interest I think they are fighting for. The Kamba Kingpinship.
Okay, it's a matter of wait and see whether they will make it and succeed. Maybe Kalonzo Musyoka?
Yeah, that's the debate.
Okay, we'll wait and see. I'm told we are running out of time. Sports is coming up next, and of course, being on Friday, we have an entertainment segment, but I don't want to disclose who we have in the studio this morning because I wanted to keep glued because It's a surprise. So don't have to go too far. Keep the conversation going. Our SMS line is 21144, 21144. Keep the comments coming. I'll be sampling some of them as we continue with the show. But now I have to take a quick breather and then usher in my friend here to continue with the AFCON analysis and, of course, with the Sports Extra. Don't go too